Hi, my name is Sonia, and I want to talk to you about going as a learner. Now, here at TMS Global, going as a learner is the DNA of who we are as an organization, and it is foundational for how we send our workers into the world. First, let's talk about terminology to establish a mutually understood vocabulary. You may be familiar with the word missionary. Missionary and worker for us is the same thing. Throughout this training, you will hear the acronym CCW. It stands for cross-cultural worker. So whether you hear missionary, worker, or CCW, it all means the same. One who goes to another culture to serve for the sake of Christ. Going as a learner is about entering into a community in a way that makes sense to the people we're trying to reach, being a blessing to them, and building bridges for relationships that will lead to sharing the message of the gospel. Going as a learner boils down to two things: choice and intentionality. I want to give you a couple of examples of how we can enter into a culture. But first, let's understand culture. In this context, it's not just about going overseas to a different country. It could be in your own backyard or the community around your church. Stepping into a different culture is any culture that's different than your own. The first posture is stepping into a culture as the expert. What does this look like? It looks like showing up, standing tall as the authority, and imparting great knowledge. In this posture, we are leading with our minds and our thoughts, with the assumption that I have all of the information that everyone else needs. This rigidity is detrimental to you as the learner, to the mission, and to the entire team. The second posture, and the one we want to encourage you to lean into, is as the humble learner. What does this look like? This posture steps into a culture first with their eyes observing all that is going on, listening with their ears even to the sound of birds, filters what is heard and observed through the heart, and asks soft questions for connection and understanding. Soft questions begin with, tell me about versus why. Tell me about why you do it that way versus why are you doing it like that? The impression or the impact that it has on the hearer is totally different. There are also three stumbling blocks that can trip up your cultural learning experience. They are assumptions, blind spots, and comparisons. It's very interesting because assumptions automatically lead to blind spots. An assumption assumes a familiar meaning to an unfamiliar situation. When we interpret something in a new culture through our own cultural lens, we often miss what is happening directly in front of us. This assumption creates blind spots. It blocks the process of learning about the new culture. I want to give you a real live example of what this can look like. My very first visit to Kenya, I stepped into the country with a group of individuals seeking to serve. As we arrived at one location, we noticed that there were people all around us scratching something off on a card. As we continued to watch this, we made assumptions that these people were gambling, that this was a gambling nation, because we ascribed what scratch-off cards in our cultural context meant to what we were seeing. Ultimately, what we learned is that it was the very first time that Kenyans received cell phones. And the only way they could have airtime was to add minutes from a number on a scratch-off card. You see, we made an assumption and we compared it to our own experience. Comparisons keep us from real-time opportunities. When we are comparing, we're missing an opportunity that God may be presenting for developing deeper relationships, to understand the culture and love people well, and ultimately share the gospel. I want to encourage you, as you begin this journey, Allow what you see and experience to form a better understanding about God, the lost, and the global church. There is much the Lord wants to do in and through this experience. Imagine, some of what He wants to do may actually be on the inside of you.